think it doesn't count. Nope, no countdown. It just records. Hello there, everybody. Mike here, and
Holly here.
And welcome to another optimized meetup, where for the next hour-ish, you get to spend time with me and Holly live or in our digital presence. So we're going to kick this thing off with a breathes, and you're not going anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, what do we say? What am I doing? What am I doing? All right, here we go. So whenever you do this breathes, you can be standing, sitting, eyes open, eyes closed, whatever you want, whatever you do. Feel yourself either grounded to the floor or grounded to your seat. Breathe in through your nose, down into your belly, and then out wherever you want it to go. Mouth, nose, whatever. So let's do a sample breathe count here. So it's in for 6, hold for 2, out for 7. All right, so breathe in through the nose. Hold for 2, out for 7. All right, let's get this thing going. Okay, inhale and energize. Feel that energy growing within you. Exhale and allow that energy to fill your entire body. Inhale, feeling tall, telos, like an archer, aiming at a target. Aim your force and exhale with a heroic heart. Chest up, chin down. Feel the love in your heart and give it to the world. Now inhale, eudaimon. See that best version of you, be that best version of you, and exhale with a smile. All right, here we roll. Oh my Lord. Somebody actually joined us today. What's up?
Hi.
So, I don't know if I really have an introduction for this one this time, but what is the main thing you've been working on this week?
This week I've been trying to work on regrounding myself. Getting back into a routine where where I'm starting to take care of myself a little bit more. I've lost that part over the last 2 months where I've just been taking care of other people and other things and not doing my fundamentals. So I'm getting back to regrounding myself, making sure that I'm taking a little bit of time for myself in the morning before I get on the floor, jump running, helping everybody else and making sure that they're getting what they need. So
Awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, Patty. How's it going?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Doing great.
So what you here for?
What am I here for?
Yeah.
I've been wanting to catch up with you guys for a few weeks now. I forgot one week and then forgot to put it on my calendar is my problem. And so it just went by and then later on I was like, it was Sunday.
You know,
I don't know what day
it happens to us too. It's like, oh, it's Sunday. I better get ready.
Yeah. Actually, last weekend, Mike was like, he was getting ready for it and everything, and I was sitting there thinking it was Saturday. I woke up and I was like, you're getting up and getting ready early. What's going on? He's like, we have our optimize online meeting. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's like in a half hour, isn't it? Yeah. So it's, I hear you. It's easy to lose track of time, especially if you're at home right now and out of your normal routines.
But it shouldn't be too much for me. I mean, well, it is. It still is, because I'm used to leaving the house on certain days. Like I volunteer a lot. I don't actually work, but I do a lot of volunteering, which now have all, ceased. So yeah, it does kind of get, one day just kind of leads to the other, and we used to use the weekends, Saturday and Sundays, to go out, and now it's just things have kind of closed. So like we went out to Mount Baker about a month ago, and there was tons of people there.
That's probably why they shut down the woods.
That's probably why they shut down the woods, but Mount Baker is just like, Mount Rainier, Mount Sire, all those areas. I mean, yes, it's tons of people, but it's still like huge spaces. So
I was kind of
it's not like, yeah, you're confined in a building or something. There's fresh air all around you.
Things keep getting more and more closed, and so now the last 2 weeks we've been stuck literally at home. So I literally have no idea what day it is at any given time.
So I'm in the complete opposite boat. My job hasn't changed at all, because I'm technically an essential employee, so I get to go in every single day and work like it's a normal life. Like, this whole thing for me has been like, what's the big deal? but everybody's got their own situation, so I can see how you could lose the days.
Dean.
Hey, Dean, if you want to be part of this, just join, man.
Yeah, just come say hi.
Let's get it over with. So I've seen you show up on a couple of the calls.
Yeah, I've been a little bit more present this year. Last year I was too terrified. I was like, how can people ask him questions? It's too terrifying, because there's like hundreds or possibly even thousands of people
Watching.
But, yeah.
I was on a few times last year, and I think I was on once this year, and you do have that like nervousness, especially after you've been on the first time, because you kind of get an idea of the path that they're going to take you down. And then you start asking yourself, like, okay, they're going to push it back on me. Mm-hmm. So should I even go on? Because I feel like an idiot for not being able to figure it out on my own. But they do help provide some clarity. Have you gotten...
Both times have been pretty, have been a pretty eye-opening for me. And it's just, both times were, I was kind of actually already probably on that path. And again, they just kind of help keep me, oh yes, mm-hmm. you're on the right track, or what have you. But
what I was gonna ask is if you got some clarity on really what you're hoping to develop.
Yes and no. My problem I tend to get is, again, and it's one of my number one virtue. I think this has always been my virtue, has been creativity. And mm-hmm. and so what I'm going through right now is not so much I'm gonna stop, because I couldn't stop being creative if I tried. I think even if I left what I'm doing now, it would still be something like creative, because that oozes out of me. And it's one of the things I've always told people, during interviews or doing, these questionnaires, like, what's your top character strength? I'd be like, creativity. I have a crazy brain, right, that goes on. But one of my bottom virtues, which is really interesting because it is what I struggle with right now, is following through, or I can't remember how they worded it, but it was like sticking to things, and bravery. So like doing what I need to do, even though it's hard or even though it's scary
Yeah.
So did you want to join us? Okay. My husband has his own schedule, so, but he's in Optimized too. So
Yeah, I've seen him around. The first time I recognized it was one of those moments like, whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, but it doesn't take long to figure it out.
Yeah.
But like I could resonate with your questions because a lot of the times, you know, we hear that you're supposed to figure out the one thing and like go down that path. And I don't agree with that at all. At all. Like I agree that you need to have a focus. Like this is where I'd like to go. So when you do hit those roadblocks, you can kind of keep on cruising. But as a creative individual myself, it feels like I'm losing a lot of pieces of me along the way if I'm just like, well, the one thing I'm going to do in my life is create coaching programs about how to raise kids. Like there's so many other aspects of me where if I just do that, I drop it off. You know, like I wouldn't feel right. So I can agree with your question that you were asking, and I can feel that pain because I was going through it, and I guess I am still going through it. You know, because the one question that I did ask this year was, what do I do if I'm writing and then I hit a roadblock? Because what I would do is I'd hit a roadblock and be like, okay, well, you know, writing a article or a little video, that's done. Let me go jump into a book because I have this idea to write some kid books about virtues, and that was fun. And so I'd break it up like that. And my question was, should I do that? And the thing I got back was, well, you should pick your one thing. And I understand why people say that, but at the same time, it feels absurdly like constricting. And even like doing the videos that I do, you know, if you look on YouTube and everything, they're like, pick your one thing. I don't know if I got one thing.
Well, and another thing that goes with that is sometimes you pick one thing, but there's so many things that go around it that build it up. You know, when you're talking about being a healthy person, or if you're trying to be like a health coach, what have we been taught? It's your eating, your movement, and your sleep. So there's so many different components that go into it. You can't just really pick one thing. Because when you think about it, you know, if you're not eating right, or if you're not taking care of yourself, your sleep is going to be crap. And why is that? So then that's when it all kind of just comes around and ties back in together. In order to really build this one thing up, you need to do these other steps to make sure that it helps build that foundation.
Yeah, I agree. It's like everything kind of rolls around. So my whole program is if you boil it down to 2 words, my program is basically what I would call conservation fitness. And so basically like taking care of the planet by taking care of yourself, by taking care of the planet. I mean, it becomes this like big
it's a big circle.
And it winds around each other. So I often will tell, I'm coaching other, my ex coworkers, I'm coaching other zookeepers right now. And the big thing I keep sharing, and I'm also very proud of, I got an article out to the association on how zookeepers can deal with the coronavirus. They're super stressed out right now. They are
Awesome.
Way to go.
Essential employees, but they're stressed out. And so I've written, you know, I'm getting out there a little bit more, but again, it's still trying to pick that one thing is really hard. But again, it's centered around one thing. It's centered around, I want to teach people how to take care of the planet by taking care of themselves. And I'll, as I said, what I'll tell everyone is, you can't take care of the animals, and then you can fill in the blank. You can't take care of your family. You can't take care of your community. You can't take care of the world until you start taking care of yourself. You are the, you know, and I've
Yeah,
said
you're the link.
and with other avenues or other venues that I've tried to present at, I presented at a Comic-Con. It was
Awesome.
Cool.
this little tiny Comic-Con, but I presented on fandom fitness, and it was so like optimized. It was so fun because I would bring everything from the optimized program to this ideal of like fandom fitness. Why are we doing this? We want to be who wants to be superheroes? A bunch of kids. Who wants to be superheroes? They're like, yeah, I want Spider-Man. And I'm like, you know, the number one rule of being a superhero, they're like, with great power, because I'm like, no. I'm like, well, yeah. It kind of is. That's like, actually, yes, you know, it kind of is. Great power comes great responsibility. The number one rule of being a superhero is taking care of yourself. You are the first person. A hero, you know, again, what we learned, a hero has strength for two.
Yep.
Taking care of themselves so that they can take care of their family, their loved ones, their community, the world, so they can save the world. And all, you know, the families are going, oh, but you know, so everything kind of winds around each other. And so even though I have this seemingly like bold, huge idea of, I want to save the world, I want to help, you know, I want to help with conservation efforts by employing this fitness program, it all ties together. And I see that with you, like, yeah, you want to teach kids, you know, you want to teach optimized kids, you want to write a book on virtue. Those are all super, you know, they're all balled in together, I feel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I think what they mean by, well, for me, I don't know, I can't tell. For me, that's what I'm overwhelmed because I am doing all those things kind of similar. I'm writing a book, I'm doing a blog, I've got videos, I'm reviewing books, I'm coaching people. I've got so much stuff going on that my brain is imploding, literally. Like, I mean, it just shuts down, like just too many inputs, too many outputs also. So maybe for me, it's again, focusing on one thing. And once that's done, then I can move on, you know, or as you were saying, like, okay, I've hit a roadblock, but I just finished a new, I'm calling them zoo notables. So it's kind of like philosopher notes for zookeepers. And so reading similar books as Brian reads, but I'm relating them specifically to animal care professionals in that context. So again, taking care of the animals, take better care of yourself. And so I wanted to do a ton of other blogs and other aspects, but this note has been like dominating my mind and my efforts and my time. So I've kind of let it. So just kind of, okay, the blogs, the videos, everything can go to the side. I'm just going to focus on this Zoo Notables for right now. And once that's finished, which should be today, after this, once that's finished, then I can go, okay, what's
next?
What's next? What's important now? And that could be, let's get back to blogging. Let's get back to, you know, to doing the daily videos for a little bit. Let's get back to writing my book. So I can see where, like, for me, a little bit different. I'm trying to work on following through and finishing what I started, because again, that's one of my bottom things. I fizzle out because it's scary, or because, you know, and because you know, because it gets hard. So yeah. But for the other aspect, if you do hit that roadblock where you know, I just can't right now, then yeah, moving on to something else that's still within your realm. That, I think that's what I feel is that one big thing is, like, I feel what you're talking about is like kid-centered or, raising optimized kids. So everything that I've heard from you is it's centered around one big thing, but you just have tons of outshoots from that. So it's still all connected though.
Yeah, and that's what I was afraid of, like when I asked the question, is like, okay, if I hit a roadblock and I get diverted, is that because I'm scared to go through the roadblock? Is it because I don't know how to go through the roadblock? Am I just cheating? Like it didn't feel like that, because like with my creativity, like I can go and it's automatically there, but like after a while, it's just like, okay, like this is feeling too forced. It doesn't feel very creative for me anymore, and it feels more like work. And I was a little more concerned of like, okay, if I hit this roadblock and I don't go through it with a work mentality, maybe I'll never finish the thing. But yeah, I think having an idea, like you having it narrowed down to 2 words, that's pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
There's not a whole lot of people that can get true clarity on it. And I mean, I spent a lot of time last year working on what my life goal or mission was, and I got it summarized down to like the quickie mart of health. I want to be able to solve your health problems in a multitude of ways. So like you getting into the Comic-Con stuff, how'd you get there?
Okay, first of all, it's not big name. I did it was in Linwood. It was called Nerd Fair, and it was one day, and I mean it's nowhere near even close to the size of even Emerald City Comic Con at all. It was just, I think maybe 1,000 people, so I mean, big for Linwood, big for this, it was big for me, and there was only 8 people there. I mean, for me at my talk, but I didn't care. I had a lot of fun with it. For me, that's been the big part of it. But if you're interested, because there's tons of them around. I mean, of course, not right now, but there is Nerd Fair. There's Geek Girl Con. There is Emerald City, and then even like little towns of Bellingham, where I live close to, they have a 1 day or 2 day event.
Did you just reach out to them and say, hey, this is what I do?
I don't know. I can't remember how I even found out about them, but yeah, I just searching like Comic-Con type things, and most of the time they have a probably like right now, Geek Girl Con is looking for submissions, and you don't have to be a girl to present, or to you don't even have to be a girl to present. I'm just saying, because it's called Geek Girl Con, people, I have to be a girl. But
I'm trying to wonder why he's giving me that look.
Well, you're a girl.
Oh,
you can do it.
But you don't have to be a girl to present. You just have to be there. Your philosophy has to be empowering to girls. So, and I think it helps if you're a girl. Like, why are you presenting? No, but they want you to be empowering and
awesome
to women. So
yeah. So for your zoo stuff and your articles that you got going on there, did you basically just do the same thing and reach out to them and say, this is what I do?
Yeah. Well, I'm a zookeeper for 15 years before this, so I'm very familiar with the organizations that are around, and I'm actually still really involved with them, even though I don't work as a zookeeper anymore. I still go to the conferences. I still am very active with local chapters. So it was kind of an easy call for me to just, I've been thinking about and talking to my old coworkers and even coaching through some of them. I kind of getting this idea like, guys are stressed. I'm pretty sure it's not just you. I just happen to pick the only 2 people on the planet that are stressed about this. So and reading a few books again for everything ties together. I was reading some books for Zoo Notables, and I was hearing again those same themes that are repeated. And it was an animal trainer book, and it's just like the mantras that we share and optimize are very similar to concepts that are practiced in animal training, going back to kindergarten. So that's go back to your baseline, set yourself up for success, set the animals up for success. And hi.
She said
that's
hi,
our dean.
Using these kind of ideas, I'm like, that's my premise of my book anyways, is using the principles of animal training to apply to your fitness or to your own wellness program. And so I just picked like 3 big ideas about, set yourself up, focus on the positive, you get the behaviors you reinforce, and set yourself up for success. So telling, again, writing the zookeepers and just saying, rather than trying to one person at a time, I'm like, I think this might be a good thing for everybody to hear. So,
yeah. I love that you're taking both worlds, the world of staying with your passion with working with the animals and being with the zoo and everything, and then taking your optimized knowledge and combining them together to create this, like, really it is a powerful force that you're giving out there. You're giving a ton of information on how to take care of both you and your environment and how it all does intermix with each other. And I love the information that you're pulling together and that you're putting it out there. And I've been able to watch a couple of your videos when I get the time to get on Optimize anymore. And you do an awesome job at bringing that information together.
Thank you.
And creating just something wonderful for everybody, taking it from both worlds and putting it together. I'm sorry. They picked the worst day to try and keep our attention elsewhere.
Just
come here and say hi. Get it over and done with.
So much better than. So has doing the zoo notes changed how you read a book?
It's changed how I pick my books I'm going to read.
Kind of like picking out the information that you're looking for. Like when you pick a book, do you pick like a theme that you're looking for specifically, or?
Because it depends on, because I kind of alternate books, kind of like what Brian does. He'll do a stoic philosophy type book, and then he'll do like a modern science type book, and then go back and forth. I'm doing similar. I pick like an optimized style book. So my last one I just finished up was Food Rules by Michael Pollan.
Mm-hmm.
And the last book before that was a training book called Lads Before the Wind by Karen Pryor. And the fascinating thing to me was I'm sitting there thinking, I picked this book by Karen Pryor, but she's a world famous animal trainer. I mean, like, if you ask a professional animal trainer, who's your Karen Pryor, they'll be, oh, she's the mother goddess of animal training. So I mean, she's renowned, and this was her first book as an animal trainer, talking about how she hey Harold.
Hello, Harold.
Talking about how she got started in training dolphins, and that there were no experts out there. She was the expert. She developed all the techniques. So I'm reading this thinking, okay, what am I going to dispense to animal care professionals? And I'm reading it, and then suddenly it just dawns on me, like the big ideas that just struck out at me weren't towards animal care professionals per se. It was like, this is how I can see how this rule that she's talking about here applies to bigger bigger ideas, like to fitness, to optimizing our lives. So the idea of, you know, learning from trial and error, love of learning. She could have, like, this is an overwhelming idea that she had to start training dolphins. Like it was brand new. It's the early 60s. The only people who had ever done anything like this before was Marine Land. There was no manual for her to, you know, really to look at. Well, there was, but it was written by a human psychologist. So she was like looking at this manual that's written in, you know, scientific jargon, and instead of being overwhelmed, she's super excited about it. She's like, yeah, it was, you know, yeah, it was, I can see why the other trainers weren't interested because it's scientific, but it was so exciting. And so she just dove in and just loved every minute of it. And the big thing that was really powerful to me was how she incorporated putting an undesirable behavior. So just imagine this dolphin that didn't want to partake in the activity. They were trying to do echolocation tests, so they had to blindfold the dolphin, and the dolphin didn't want the cups on its eyes, so it would just sink down to the bottom of the pool. Problem solved for the dolphin.
Yeah.
but not for Karen. So she incorporated a tool that I never would have thought of until I read about it, and that is she put the sinking down at the bottom of the pool on cue, meaning she asked the dolphin to do it when she wanted him to do it, she would ask him to sink down to the bottom of the pool. And then when she didn't want him, when she wanted to put the cups on his eyes, she wouldn't ask him. And believe it or not, that worked.
That's awesome.
And so the idea behind it came to me as like, I wonder how this works in human terms. Like, so my big deal, one of my big problems I have is procrastinating. I mean, you know, I think that's a big problem for most people. I don't think that's but procrastinating. And I was like, so wonder if I could put that on. I was like, I wonder if I could put it on cue. Now again, I say in quotation marks because we're not going to be like, go procrastinate. It's going to be, I schedule it. What happened if I scheduled procrastinating or scheduled unproductivity into my day? And I was like, and believe it or not, it works.
Yeah, awesome. So you're scheduling like your playtime.
It's like scheduling playtime. It's like scheduling, okay, you know, it's not like a time base. So at 9 a.m. I will be unproductive. It's like, okay, let me it varies for me day to day. Some days it can be before it really, I allow it before I get creative if that's how, you know, how I'm feeling today. But it can be just like 10 minutes. 10 minutes I'm going to be just as unproductive as I want to be. I can play my games, I can watch stupid YouTube videos, but once that timer goes off, it's click and refocus, and now it's time for productivity.
Awesome.
And again, it's like putting it on cue, and I was like, oh my God, it does work. It's putting it on cue, and I'm also imagining, like, I wonder if this would work. I don't have kids, so I can't test this, but I wonder if it would work on kids. Like, if your kid's having a temper tantrum, just put it on cue. I mean, like, not like, again.
That's right.
Right, like,
Yeah.
Having a temper tantrum, you say, all right, have your temper tantrum. You have 8 minutes to get this out of your system. And if that's 6 minutes, here's the other kicker. It really, that I think would work. Is that 6 minutes? They're probably calling, like, no, you gotta keep going. I said 8 minutes.
I love it. We kind of do that.
Awesome.
Yeah, we if they're losing it, we say, hey, look, that's fine. Go do it, right? Get it out, right? And then we can regroup. I think I'm going to try the 8-minute thing and say, all right, I set the timer. Because I forgot what book it was, but I literally just read that as well. It's like, look, feel the feeling. If you're pissed and angry, you're upset, just like feel it and like sit in it for a while and then say, okay, I'm done. Now I gotta move on with my life here. But I kind of like that idea of like, okay, I see you're angry. I see you're upset. You got 8 minutes to be angry at me. After that, we got to move on. And then after 6, if they're calm, hit them with the extra. You got 2 more minutes because we ain't going through this again. You gotta go be angry.
Well, but when you think about
Let's do depression.
It's perfect because they're acknowledging their feelings.
Mm-hmm.
They're going through the motion of feeling it and acknowledging it, and that's what you have to do to move on away from it, so it doesn't just continue to sit and stew in it, you know, you get it over and done with instead of just letting it drag on or let it consume you for the rest of the day. You got your 8 minutes. After that, you're done. You don't need to feel that feeling anymore. You've already acknowledged it. You've gone through the motion of it and everything. It's taken care of. Now move on with the rest of your day. I love that idea.
Yeah, and that essentially was what Karen did with the dolphin. She was like, you know, the dolphin realized it was getting reinforced and rewarded for sinking down, so it'd come back up once it sunk down. She's like, no, you gotta go down there longer. You'll come back up when I tell you to. And eventually, like, the other aspect of it was she had to like ask for it in the future. She couldn't just be like, never ask for it again, because otherwise it becomes self-reinforcing to avoid what it didn't want to begin with. So during the show, right before she was gonna, or maybe before, after, but during their program, they're wanting to show off the eye cups. She would ask the dolphin to go down the floor, and they made it really anthropomorphic. She'd be like, "Oh, I forgot to say please." So now the dolphin is sulking. So they would incorporate it into the program, and then get it over. You know, as you just said, get it over with. So that's basically the dolphin having a little temper tantrum. So let him do it. Get it over with. Do it on cue. So now when you come back up, I'm not going to ask for this again. And she says that it just worked wonderfully. You take the cups like a gentleman, and then go on with the rest of the program. So, but
okay, well, we're going to live our life.
It's fascinating to me, because I was like, I'm reading this book thinking I'm going to be dispensing this information to only zookeepers, and I'm like, this is amazing. I should send this to Brian.
I'm actually going to take this and apply it. It doesn't matter what we do. It seems like it doesn't matter if it's like we're getting ready just before we go to on the road trip for a Spartan race, or going to the zoo, or I mean, we do pretty much the same thing all summer long. We go to Spartan races, we go to the zoo, we go to a fish hatchery. We've got the things that we like to do, but it's never fails. It's like, it doesn't matter if it's something that the kids are excited about. There has to be a fight before we get outside. It's like, okay, we know we're going to be in the car for a long time, so we're going to have like some kind of a struggle here. It never fails. So maybe that's what I'm going to start doing. I'm going to say, okay, instead of just one of you doing it, because it's always at least one, I'm just going to say, here you go, all 3 of you. You got 10 minutes.
You got 10 minutes.
Throw your feet around, kick, do whatever you need to do, scream, get it out. You got 10 minutes. I'll give you a 5-minute warning to let you know when you're halfway there. But after this, we're in the car, we're in a positive mindset, and we're going for it. Because it doesn't matter what if the kids are excited or anything. It's just there's got to be at least one of them that melts down. So that's something that would be awesome to try out and say, hey, you know what, we're getting ready to go here in 15 minutes. You got like a 10-minute meltdown. We'll take the last 5 minutes of the 15 to finish packing up and then hit the road.
Well, at least we know who to blame if it doesn't work, right? No, I'm just joking. No, I do like it, because, you know, even if we can get them to do it. And if they stop and we can say, no, you got to keep going,
Mhm.
that'll at least bring some potential awareness to like, I don't exactly like how this feels.
Yeah.
Right.
You
I
know.
think that's precisely the point, is that it still allows the kid to go through the motions, but like they're like, but Dad, I'm fine. And you're like, no, I said 2 more
I
minutes.
said be
Yeah.
depressed. Get in there. Be upset.
Because this is not coming into the van with a 3-hour car ride. No, not gonna
Right.
happen.
No, but no, Mom, I'm fine. It's only been 8 minutes. You gotta keep kicking. You gotta get it out, and it'll help them recognize, the, I think, I hope. I don't know. Again, I don't have kids, so this is.
No, I'd love to hear your theory because like when we're doing these things, like our kids know we're gonna be here and they know, like they understand it's a moment for them to sort of, I
Free
guess,
roam.
take advantage or free roam in the background. So I usually try to invite them and say, look, if you want to be a part of it, let's be a part of it. I'd rather you come in and be a part of it than like stand off. We've got a door right over here. They'll stand there with like a flashlight and just like shining in her eyes. So it would be a wonderful tool to try to implement to them to give them some control in a situation where instead of us exactly directing them, they can become a part of it. And it seems like with the van, where they're not going to have a whole lot of control, they do lose it. So find a way. We'll see if he shows up. We had a ninja just come in our room. Dude, Ninja D, come on.
Come here, Ninja Dean.
He's in the background. But no, that's awesome. I mean, I've been contemplating with the idea of reading a book and trying to summarize it. And it's different reading a book to try to say, okay, what are the things to where if I took this, what are the things that I could give back? Because I can see what Brian does is absurdly difficult because there's a ton of awesome information in all these books that he presents.
Yes.
He obviously has a clear idea of what he wants people to understand or what his primary things are, and he's able to pull those out. Because, I mean, I read the book Loving What Is by Byron Katie. Is like, he left all kinds of stuff out. But you can't do everything. So you got to figure out what's most useful for people within the realm that I'm doing.
Or maybe even start picking up before you pick up the book, you pick up the book with a purpose.
I think.
Yeah, that's exactly it. You just pick it up, you've got it with the purpose, and then you focus on that purpose, getting the information that you go in there knowing that there's going to be a ton of awesome information and wisdom in there, but you go in there saying, okay, these are the specific things that I'm looking for. These are the specific things that I want to touch on, and run with those. Because a lot of the books that I've read after, like Marie Folio's Everything is Figure Outable, I was like, there is a ton more information in here than what he provided in his philosopher's note. And I was just like, wow, this is actually a bigger point for me out of his big five main ideas. Sorry, daughter kind of got me off last track. Yeah. But I was like, this is like a bigger point to me than that was. So everything's going to resonate with everybody a little bit differently. And there's always going to be some other big idea that pops out to somebody else than it did for the original person who read it, which is, I think, a big reason why he does that, is to say, hey, these are the big 5 ideas that I got from it. There's a heck of a lot more information on there, but these are the big 5 main ideas that I got out of it. If you want more, it's kind of like giving that like a little taste of a cookie and then saying, if you want the rest of it, go out and get it. You're gonna have to work for it.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think that, especially I agree with Marie Forleo's book, because I read the book before he came out with the note, or before I listened to the note. I read the book last year when he came out with the note, because he was praising it at some point during the program. It wasn't required reading, so I had my list of reading or philosopher notes that I was catching up with. But then I found it on my audio subscription that I could stream for free for the whole month, and I was like, oh, this will be something for me to listen to on the drive to and from.
You gotta be right here. Right there, bro.
Sorry for the distractions.
From volunteering, and I was just like, this is amazing. And then I listened to the note, and I'm like, he missed everything.
Well, that book, like the premise, right? Because he did pitch it as like another one of those things that's like, holy crap, it takes everything we do here and put it in a book. Like, that was why I was excited to read it. I have yet to read it, but I've listened to Marie for years.
Yeah.
And I was like, when he was praising it, I was like, oh, awesome. And then we got it, and she read it, and I haven't gotten a chance to get to it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
I thought that I found that I got more out of the book by actually doing her exercises.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I actually did. I actually did the journaling exercises that she put in there. Because for me, I'm like this as the first year optimize, or I guess in the program. I'm not there where I've got a purpose yet that I'm trying to go for. I'm all over the place. I know I want to be helpful. I love helping people, but I don't quite know what I want to do as far as that going into a career wise. And Coach Michael was saying you need to find who Holly is outside of mom and wife. That's when you'll find what your purpose is. That's when you'll really start to find what you want to do and be able to narrow it down. You got to reconnect with yourself.
Right.
And so I was doing a lot of the reprogramming my belief systems, because I went forever thinking with the belief system that you do not have to take care of yourself in order to take care of others. I didn't believe in that whatsoever. I was like, I'm doing it great. I'm taking care of all my kids. I'm taking care of my husband. I'm taking care of the PTO and doing school stuff, and I'm just fine, until I hit that burnout.
Right.
Well, it turns out I was burning out because I wasn't taking care of myself, and so reprogramming that belief system, Marie Folio's book, Everything is Figure Outable, there is a big section in there about how belief systems are created and how it's important to sometimes re-challenge some of those belief systems that you have, because they're no longer helpful to you. They no longer resonate with you, and they're no longer a part of your reality anymore. It's actually healthy to go back through and challenge it and say, well, this hasn't been working for me. Okay, so I've been burning out a lot lately. Why is that? Well, because you haven't been taking care of yourself. Well, you don't believe you have to take care of yourself. Well, guess what? You do. So I'm going to have to challenge that and reprogram it to where it's like, this is your new norm. You got to take care of yourself so you have enough energy to take care of others. So you can actually be present, fully there for other people. You can't do that unless you are re-energized yourself. So her book doing the exercises with her through that book was it was very powerful, and it was very helpful in reprogramming that belief system that I had. I don't know when Mike reads it, I'm going to be interested to see what he pulls out of that book, because he's already got a business going, and he's already so much grounded in who he is and who he wants to be and his virtues. And so it'll be interesting to see what he gets out of the book versus what I had gotten out of the book, especially if he goes through and he does the exercises.
That's probably one of the reasons why I want to read it, but I just don't know if I'm going to get a whole lot out of it. Like, I don't know. That's what I'm worried about. Like, I'm reading these books about inherited family trauma and like all this crazy science stuff that blows my mind. Like, I'm worried about going from that to something that's basically a summary of Optimize and being like, I love Marie, but God, I got fit here. Like, I get. So that's one of the reasons why I'm probably not the most motivated to get back to it. And it doesn't help that I've talked to a couple other optimizers. They'd be like, well, you know, it's really good, but you do pick up something in anything that you read.
Yeah.
Well, Pattie,
What's
you
that?
enjoyed the conversation?
Yeah. This is a great morning. Way to start my morning.
Well, good.
I kind
What's
of
your plan for the next week? What are you going to be working on?
I'd have to get my schedule. This next week, I haven't quite figured out where my motivation lies. I'm kind of in this little cusp of maybe switching gears to writing my. I haven't decided. I figured this is maybe what I deal with this week is figuring out. So my book I've been working on for the past 5 years has been it's the working title right now is What Animals Taught Me About Health and Fitness. So it's basically, again, the idea of taking these my stories of me working with animals and then applying it to a like a lesson of how we can take care of ourselves. So I'll try to keep this a brief story, but I was working with a dolphin and we just had this amazing relationship, and it reminded me of a philosophy and training called putting trust in the bank. And we've heard this before, but putting trust in the bank, every time I have a good interaction with this animal, I'm putting a little bit more trust. And every time I do something the animal doesn't like, I'm withdrawing. So we never want to go bankrupt. We want to continuously have trust in the bank. So I had this remarkable relationship with this dolphin, and then I got moved to another area, and a huge accident occurred. He broke his jaw in the exhibit, and he wouldn't. I mean, you can imagine he's in a lot of pain. He would not approach any of the other trainers, and so I was actually called in to help get a net, to get a net around him to drag him. I mean, like literally drag him out. This is our last option. If he doesn't come up, we have to get him out to take care of him. So very traumatic. And it's not what we wanted to do. It's not what we want to do at all. I mean, it's just really not. But when the trainers saw me, they're like, "Hey, you! God, thank God you're here. Can you go get him out on the beach?" And I'm like, well, if he wouldn't come to you, why would he come to me? I haven't worked him in a few months. But I had that trust with him. And when he saw me at the beach, he came right up to me. I mean, pain and all, because we had that much trust in the bank. And so we were able to, calmly and together get him out of the pool, very, very non-stressing to us, to him, to the dolphins, and we were able to get him to into the back for treatment pretty without more injury. And again, that's what trust in the bank can do. And with an animal, it's a really intense story. It like really changed how I work with animals, honestly, for the future, because like that kind of trust in me in from another species is just insane. It's just remarkably empowering. but then relating that, we're not putting, when we're in our fitness, we're not putting trust in the bank. I mean, we could be, you could use that kind of term. We're building a relationship with ourselves. Our mind and our body are coming together. So it could be a little bit of trust, but what I call is, and we've heard this probably before, is motivation in the bank. We're putting, every time we have a great workout, every time we eat a healthy meal, every time we get, you know, our 8 hours of sleep, we're putting a little bit more motivation in the bank, and that's going to keep us going. So when we are deprived of that willpower, when there are donuts in the break room, or when it's snowing and we're like, I do not want to get out of this bed and go to the gym, you know, or whatever it is, you know, I don't want to get out of this warm, comfy bed. We have that build up, that amount of motivation in the bank that we can be like, no, I've been doing a workout every Friday for the past 3 months or so. I'm not about to quit now. So again, the more you do it, the more motivation you build. And again, so when you need that, when you have that depletion of willpower, you can withdraw from it and keep going. And again, that's the gist of Optimize too, is is to keep going and use what we have. So my idea for that book is, again, tons of stories. That's like story, lesson, story, lesson, story, lesson. And so I've been working on this for 5 years, and the past 2 years I've been working on the most, what I've been working on is building a platform. So I've been calling agents, I've been or querying agents, and they are remarkably interested in the book. They're like, wow, this is a great concept, this is timely, you've got a great storytelling ability, but I do not have a platform. And so the past 2 years, that's basically all I've been working on, is one person at a time, 8 people at my class at a time, doing a blog, doing an article, attending conferences, but I'm just not seeing any I don't see any improvement in my platform. So I'm debating.
So they need to so they're looking for a existing base of people that follow you?
They want Brian to write my book. That's what they want.
So they want a ghostwriter.
They want They want me to be Brian, basically. Brian's at, with thousands and thousands of followers, before that they'll take me on. So
interesting. I
have this choice now. So been going through this kind of turmoil, because yes, this has been a dream. I actually left zookeeping to pursue this specific dream, to write my book, to get it published. And that's what I've been working for. However, that's why I left the field, but there's a deeper sense of that. And again, the book goes into how these, everything is related to conservation. Everything connects back to my true purpose, which is teaching conservation fitness, which is so important to me. So it becomes like this cusp, like, yes, this is what I want. This is a book. I want this book. I've dreamt of this book. But I do firmly believe that this book supports this higher purpose of making the world a better place, by teaching people to connect conservation with self-care. So, so I just, I'm troubling getting this, which is better. Again, this gets to kind of like an optimize versus marketing kind of.
Yeah. Well, you almost gotta develop yourself along the path.
And I agree. If you're helping 1 or 2 people, celebrate that. And that's what the higher purpose is. And yes, if I only have 4 people in my class, I don't care. Those are 4 people that I'm connected to. I'm committed to. But again, the same point is that this wavelength for people is not going to get this my dream to become a reality. So what I've thought about doing is I don't think this is an option, but I don't do the book. I don't, I focus on my higher purpose. B, maybe I switch the book from being a self-help, self-improvement, or fitness book, which is so saturated that you have to be Brian's level, or Marie Forleo's level to get it published. And so I switched from self-help to just writing it as a memoir, just cutting out those lessons and applying it to fitness, and just writing the stories of me learning these lessons from the animals. And
have you tried to pitch that idea to anybody?
Not yet, but I do know from my experience the last few years that memoir doesn't need the platform that a self-improvement book would. So like, I might be able to manage selling that book with my platform as it is over trying to, them saying, because again, the stories are the same. The agents have been saying for a while, this is a great idea. I love your story. You have a good voice. You have, you have something important to say, but you just don't have the platform. We won't pick you up. So I can't go to those agents anymore. That's the nature of that. I can't go to those agents anymore. But if I switch it up and say, okay, I'm selling this as now a memoir, strictly a memoir. It's just me working with the animals and the amazing lessons that they shared with me, and that's it. That might be, it might be where I get that book, and then I build a platform, and then later on I could be like, hey, you guys, remember this book? Well, now you can apply it to fitness and get the other piece done. But and again, I'm in a couple writing groups, and so they are memoir focused. And so when I present my pieces, my memoir pieces are the most polished, anyways. Whereas once I start applying it to fitness, it becomes more essay-ish, and it becomes more like, I haven't been able to polish them as well because I don't have a group that's reading that part. They're only reading the story side. So it might be easier for me to get that. But I also don't know, is that me compromising too much? It's still definitely my creativity, but is that compromising my higher purpose too much by, I just want this book published? So again, that's what I think I'm going to be doing this week, is figuring that out.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like a decent problem to have, right? At least you have the option of like, where am I going to go? And I mean, I just did a video on basically this yesterday of like, who I'm becoming is more important than the obstacles that I'm facing. If I want to be this guy that can help you with any health problem that you've got, that's a ton of time, a ton of certifications, a ton of reading practice, and I'm a new found little individual in that whole realm. So it does seem like if you write the book as a memoir, you can begin to build the platform that will help you spread the message even further. It also sounds like when you do get to spread that message, you can start adding other principles and practices to your presentations or anything that you're given.
So basically getting 2 books out of 1.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, no, seriously, if you getting your book published is what you really truly want, if that's what's going to really help you feel like you're fulfilled, then go for it. I mean, is it just the one agency that you've talked to? Have you tried reaching out to other ones? Because
seriously, please join.
I'm a helicopter.
Is that what's happening in your head right now? Is that just spinning blades
This
everywhere?
is as far as my creativity goes. I get to choose what my kids are going to create out of me. You know, you do have a couple options there. You know, maybe you can try reaching out to other publishers and getting opinions from other people. Or if you wanted to, you could make the memoir and then build your platform based off of that. And then you could hit it hard with finishing your book by putting the two of them together. And then, like I said, you can get 2 books basically out of one. But man, my focus is on
take
you.
the training that we learned and apply it. All right,
Yeah.
try to reverse it and tell your mind that it's okay that they're out there doing this.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
Like that's what I did.
But yeah, it sounds like you have a couple different options there, but what I'm getting is that you really have this passion to get that book out there.
Yeah.
And maybe explore that, because sometimes trying to get, well, for me, if I bring down something that I'm really passionate about and say, okay, I hit this roadblock, so in order to get this, I have to do that, but in order to do that, I have to get this. So it's like almost like a big conundrum to get something that you really want accomplished. So I'd say just focus on that passion and focus on that big desire. And, you know, if you really want to stick with this one publishing company, then that's awesome. Write the memoir and then, you know, add to it after you get that base, that foundation built. But there's also the other option of, well, okay, so that's just one person's opinion. Maybe I can see if there's another publishing company that would have a different opinion, which could just see what I'm doing, see my vision and my creativity, just fall in love with it and say, you know what, I love this, let's go for it. I mean, you've got a couple different options. The big point, or the main thing for me, is I would love to see you reach your goal without bringing it down. You know, does that make any sense?
It does, yeah.
We're being attacked.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. Everything you're doing is awesome.
Yeah.
You are working on creating a platform. I don't know, have you ever heard of udemy.com?
No.
It's a website where you can create a course on anything.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to be certified. You don't have to be anything. You just have to be able to create a series of videos and worksheets that if somebody pays $15, you know, you can learn about anything. They've got all kinds of stuff on there. And so what I'm going to be doing this year is taking some of the ideas that I've got going on and seeing if I can actually create a program. So create a program on sleep or children, or, you know, trying to raise heroic children. So sort of taking everything that I've done and we've learned at Optimize, summarizing it my way, creating a program, and at least seeing what happens.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and seeing if I can actually develop something. Like, what I'm picturing in my head is you write your book as a memoir, but then you also back that up with a course on udemy.com that teaches some principles about integrating your memoir with actual physical movement. and now you've got something else in the background. You've got your YouTube stuff going on. You got your book. You're starting to go because, I don't know, building a platform's hard. My kids make fun of me because I got 21 subscribers and I've been doing these videos for like a year. And it's like, you know, this is how it goes. Real slow and then it blows up. I mean, they watch people on YouTube that have millions of subscribers and it's like, if you could get to that point, fantastic. But to get to that point takes a lot of work. But you might want to check that out. It's udemy.com. And you can create a course on anything. So if you got the ability to record video, you can make yourself up a program, sell it for $10 or 15 or 20, whatever people are willing to pay, you know. And that, in my opinion, is a way to get your creative juices going, flowing, direct them, and see what you can really do to develop a program. So that's my goal. Something you might want to check out too.
Well, this is something that you could possibly even use the content that you've already created, right?
Yeah.
So you've got a ton of content already. You've got all of those wonderful videos that you posted on optimize.com. That's a ton of content right there, and it's got a lot of amazing and wonderful information.
So I checked that out because you might be able to take your ZooFit thing and make it there and maybe make a little bit of money. And when you go to pitch somebody, you can say, hey, check this out. I made it. You know, this is kind of it in a video platform. And the nice thing about it is you don't have to have your own website or develop something like Optimize, and you've got a content platform. It's already there. You just got to use it. So check that out.
Nice.
Yeah,
We might have to get going. It's getting crazy. It's been a pleasure talking with you, Pattie.
Great. Yes, I will try to keep this on my calendar for future. This is fun.
Yes, life with children. It's surprising and random, but if you approach it with the right mindset, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
No, it's fun.
Well, if you want to continue jib-jabbing, we'll be here next Sunday.
Absolutely.
All right. We're
Thanks,
going to sign off,
Pattie.
Pattie. See you guys.